Donald Trump scoring his highest numbers in a brand new New York poll. The New York One Baruch College poll of likely New York GOP voters has Donald Trump with a commanding 60%. Governor John Kasich a whopping 43 points behind Trump with 17%. And Senator Ted Cruz way back in the dust, 46 points behind Trump at 14%. We have hit the one-week mark until New Yorkers cast their votes, and it's Donald Trump and Secretary Hillary Clinton who are dominating in New York.
We apologize for airplane hangars, but they're the only things that hold our crowds because something's going on.
Noticed that under the bright spotlight and scrutiny here in New York, Senator Sanders has had trouble answering questions.
Our Republican system is absolutely rigged.
I look forward to a debate that is in New York with people asking the kind of questions that New Yorkers ask.
New York State has lost 3 out of 4. 3 out of every 4 manufacturing jobs that existed in 1960 is gone.
I want to start drawing the starkest distinction between what I know America stands for, what I believe are not just New York but American values, and what Donald Trump is standing for.
Folks, what the hell is going on?
Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, is here. Nice to see you, Mr. Speaker. Donald Trump doing very well in New York. Why?
Well, I think part of it is that he's a New Yorker. And he's been around forever. He's been on page 6 in the gossip columns, I think, for over 30 years, almost 40 years now. He feels like a New Yorker. He talks like a New Yorker. And people said, welcome home. I mean, I have to say 60% is big. I thought when he was in the early low 50s he was impressive. But if that poll's anywhere close to accurate, you're going to get a blowout. He'll pick up 95 delegates, and that will be very impressive.
Okay, so it's impressive he gets 95 out of 95 if he does. But what does it mean in terms of getting to 1,237 by July?
He's 95 closer than anybody else.
Well, duh. That one I can figure out myself, believe it or not. Does it mean he's going to get to that?
Oh, look, I think that bringing on Paul Manafort made a huge difference.
Too late, rather?
No, not the way Trump operates. Trump is a guy who moves in surges. You just watch him. He focuses very intently, and then he puts enormous resources. And again, this is a guy who's worth somewhere between $4 and $10 billion. So his ability to focus is unlike anybody I've ever seen in politics. Manafort's still got his hands full, but they're pulling it together. I think, candidly, the family's made a big difference. I think they've all sort of pitched in. And I think what you're seeing is that they're going to do very well in New York. They're going to do very well in Pennsylvania. When Cruz is running third, and I had not thought about this coming out of Wisconsin, candidly, because Kasich's doing a little better than people expected. Cruz is doing worse than people expected. What it does, it's very hard to argue that you're the key alternative when you're in third place. And if the numbers we just saw are anywhere close to right, and Cruz is down at 14% or 15% in what is still our third biggest state. It's going to be our fourth biggest state now, but right close to Florida. It is really going to be challenging for him. And then if he repeats that same performance in Pennsylvania, potentially repeats it in Connecticut and Rhode Island and New Jersey, and then by then they get to Indiana, and by that stage Trump will look like he's very dominant. So I think the odds are better than even money that they can find the delegates before they get to Cleveland.
Donald Trump says that Colorado's rigged.
Well, I don't know if Colorado's rigged or not. I do know that when the state party tweeted that they had beaten Trump,
that was bad.
That was just, I mean, these are the moments when you want to find that person and just sort of put them in a nice Rocky Mountain stream, for about 6 hours. I mean, this is insane. It fits everybody's conspiracy theory. I'm sure that Cruz is mortified by it. And, of course, it feeds into a whole bias in Trump world about how the establishment is going to cheat. Now, I think in the end they can't cheat enough to make it matter.
Do you think Cruz and Trump will ever be sort of standing on that stage together with their arms around each other in Cleveland?
Well, I'm old enough that I remember Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy suddenly finding happiness together. Stranger things have happened in life. George H.W. Bush of voodoo economics deciding that actually supply-side economics was terrific if he could be vice president. So these things happen. I think it's more likely that Kasich would emerge as the vice presidential nominee.
Well, that would give, I mean, that would presumably give the Republican Party Ohio and Florida, and the word is that they can't win without Ohio and Florida. Trump is, of course, Florida.
And they're going to get Texas. I mean, any Republican candidate who's not going to carry Texas might as well not campaign.
All right, one quick question. Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders, why has she not been able to get him out of the race?
Well, why should she get out of the race? He's figured out a model of financing that
Why can't she get him out? Why hasn't she been able to trounce him?
Because it doesn't matter. She's going to trounce him in New York.
It just doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter.
So she just being sort of nice, letting him sort of tag along?
But in a free society, so she trounces him. So here's Bernie. He's sort of a college professor kind of guy. I mean, his future is Vermont or being a candidate, so he stays a candidate. And he goes around. He's having fun. He gets huge crowds. The college kids who love him couldn't care less about reality. I mean, it's the perfect, you know, if a guy's winning because his campaign theme is, I'm going to give you a free education, legalize marijuana, you can be happy for the 23 years it takes you to graduate. Why do you think any of his supporters care?
Anyway, Mr. Speaker, nice to see you.
Good to see you.